A very cheerful morning to all my dear students. Children, today we are going to start a new lesson from Science Part 2, Introduction to Biotechnology. So, let's begin. Children, can you answer me some question? Which is the smallest structural and functional unit of the body of living organism? Yes, it is the cell. So, in case of amoeba-like unicellular organism, all functions are performed by the organelles of that single cell. However, most of the organisms are multicellular. So, group of cells come together so as to perform the various functions of the body. Similarly, organization of the body of organism follows a definite hierarchy. So, children, a group of cells having the same origin, same structure and same function is called a tissue. Tissues are groups of cells that have a similar structure and act together to perform a specific function. So, tissues are present in our body. Now further, these cells or tissues are divided into two groups: simple tissues and complex tissues. Simple tissues are made up of only one type of cells. For example, epithelial tissue of animals, meristematic tissue of plants, and complex tissues are made up of more than one type of cells. For example, blood of animals, xylem and phloem of plants. Now children, tell me, are the structure and function of the bodies of plants and animals the same? Let's find out the answer. Plants being sedentary, most of their tissues are of that type that give support. There are dead cells in some tissues and these do not much need attention. Growth of plants occurs in specific parts of their body where the tissues contain dividing cells. As animals have to move from place to place in search of food, shelter and partners, their energy needs are greater. Most of the tissues of animals are made up of living cells. Uniform growth occurs throughout the body of an animal and they do not have dividing and non-dividing tissue. This means that plants and animals have different types of tissues to performing the necessary function. So children, did you get the answer? Yes. Plants and animals have different types of tissues to perform the necessary functions. So, tissues are further divided into plants tissues and animal tissues. Animal tissues in the body of animal or any other living organism, different organs come together to perform a specific function. Organs like the lungs and trachea, with the help of the contraction and relaxation of some muscles, bring about the function of respiration. Different tissues perform different functions in the organ. So, accordingly, these tissues are classified into 4 different types. So, the 4 different types of animal tissue are epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. Plant tissue is divided into 2, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue, where meristematic tissue is further subdivided into apical, intercalary, lateral, and permanent tissues are divided into 2 types, simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue, where simple permanent tissue is further subdivided into parenchyma, Chloranchyma, and Sclerenchyma. So, we are going to learn these animal and plant tissue in detail. So, let's start with it, children. To begin with animal tissue, the first we have is epithelial tissue. Protective coverings in the animal body are called epithelial tissues. Cells in these tissues are closely packed and form continuous layer. Any material that enters the body of first encounters the epithelial tissues. Cells of epithelial tissues are separated from the cells of other underlying tissues by a fibrous membrane. So, there are different types of epithelial tissues. Let's study them one by one. So, the first type is squamous epithelium. As you can see the appearance in the diagram, children. So, the location of this squamous epithelium is the inner surface of mouth, esophagus, blood vessels, alveoli. And the structure of this squamous epithelium is they are thin, small, flat cells form semi-permeable membrane, and the functions of these are selective transport of substances as it is semi-permeable membrane. The second one, stratified epithelium. They are present in the outer layer of the skin. As you can see, children, there are many layers of cells, and the function of these stratified epithelium is prevention of wearing of organs and also protection of organs. Next we have glandular epithelium. They are present in the inner layer of the skin. Their structures are cells contain vesicles packed with secretory material. So, their functions are secretion of sweat, oil, mucus, etc. Next we have columnar epithelium. Now children, these are present in the inner surface of intestine, alimentary canal, and As you can observe the picture, the structures are like column-like tall cells. Upper free surface bears folds made up of these cells at places of absorption. So, the function are secretion of digestive juice, absorption of nutrients. Next is ciliated epithelium. They are present in the inner surface of respiratory tract. The upper free surface of cells bears minute hair-like processes. So the function is they push mucus and air forward to keep the air passage free, as it is present in the inner surface of respiratory tract. Understood? And the next type we have is cuboidal epithelium. They are located at the tubules of kidney, that is nephron, and salivary glands. These cells are cuboidal, that means cube shape, as you can see in the picture. And the functions is reabsorption of useful materials from urine and also secretion of saliva. So children, these were the different types of epithelial tissues. We have studied their location, structure and function. Understood children? Okay. The next type of tissue is connective tissue. So what are connective tissues? Tissues which join different parts of the body are called connective tissues. Cells in this type of tissues are loosely arranged with a ground substance in the free spaces in between. The ground substance may be solid, liquid like water or jelly-like. So, the different types of connective tissues, let us study them one by one. The first type we have is blood. Yes, blood is also a type of connective tissues. They are the closed circulatory system, and blood consists of erythrocytes, leukocytes and platelets in a liquid plasma. That means the RBCs, WBCs and platelets. So what is the function? It is transport of oxygen, nutrients, hormones and waste. So this was all about blood. The next we have lymph. They are present all around the cells in the body. They are fluid ooze out of the blood capillaries and they contain leukocytes, that is WBC, and liquid ground substances. The function of these lymphs are protection of body from any infection. The next type is areolar tissues. They are present between the skin and muscles and also around blood vessels. Different types of cells loosely arranged and supported by a jelly-like ground substances and elastic fiber. Their functions are to support the internal organs. Next we have adipose tissue. They are present below the skin and around internal organs. These are the cells filled with fat droplets, jelly-like ground substance, and the function is insulation, supply of energy, and storage of fats. Next we have cartilage. Nose, ear, larynx, trachea. Here these cartilages are present. These are the cells supported by fibrous, flexible jelly-like ground substance, and their function is they lubricate the surfaces of bones, give support and shape to the organs. Next, bones. Skeleton, a specific structure extending through the body. So bones are also a type of connective tissue. Osteocytes embedded in solid ground substances made up of calcium phosphate, and the function is it supports and protects the different organs and also helps in the movement. Next type of connective tissue is tendons and ligaments. They are present at the joints. Tendons are fibrous, strong and less elastic, whereas ligaments are strong and highly flexible. Tendons joins muscles to the bones and ligaments joins two bones to each other. So children, these are the different types of connective tissues. Have you understood this, children? Good. The next type of tissue is muscular tissue. Now movement happens in a body by the help of muscular tissues. They are capable of contraction and relaxation. Muscular tissues are divided into three types: straighted muscles, non-straighted muscles, and cardiac muscles. Let's begin with straighted muscles. Muscle cells are long, cylindrical, multinucleate, and have no branches. They are alternate dark and light bands present on these muscles. As they are attached to the bones, they are also called as skeleton muscles. They move as per our will, so they are called voluntary muscles. These muscles bring about movement of arms and legs, running, speaking, etc. Next we have non-striated muscles. These are the muscle cells which are short, spindle-shaped, uninucleate, and have no branches. Dark and light bands are absent here. They are not attached to the bones. Their movements are not under the control of our will. Hence, they are called involuntary muscles. They are present in the alimentary canal, blood vessels, etc. Their functions are movements of eyelids, passage of food through alimentary canal, contraction and relaxation of blood vessels. The third type is cardiac muscles. These muscle cells are cylindrical, uninucleate and branched. Dark and light bands are present. The heart is made of these muscles. Their movements are not under the control of our will. They contract and relax rhythmically. And the function is contraction and relaxation of the heart. So, these were the different types of muscular tissue. The next type of tissue is nervous tissue. Cells of the nervous tissues are highly specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting to stimulus very rapidly from one place to another. Nervous tissue enables us to respond to stimuli like touch, sound, odor, color, etc. The cell body which contain the cytoplasm and the nucleus is the main part of each nerve cells. Numerous small branched fibers called dendrites arise from the cell body. One of the fibers, however, is extremely long. It is called as the axon. The length of a nerve cell may even be up to 1 meter. Many nerve cells are bound together with the help of connective tissue to form a nerve. So this nervous tissue is present in the brain, spinal cord, and the network of nerves spread all through the body. So, a nerve cell is the unit of nervous tissue. Understood, children? Okay. Plant tissues. Plants have two types of tissues: meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Let us first begin with meristematic tissue. These are simple living tissues which are capable of division and formation of new cells. Cells of meristematic tissue contains thick cytoplasm, a conspicuous nucleus and a thin cell wall, and are compactly packed together. Vacuoles are usually absent in these cells. These cells are highly active. These are present in the growing region of plants, example, roots, growing branches, etc. According to the location, meristematic tissue is of three types: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. Apical meristem. It is present at the tip of the root and stem, and it increases the length of the root and stem. Intercalary meristem. They are present at the base of the petiole and leaves and also of the branches. Their function is growth of branches, formation of leaves and flowers. The third type, lateral meristem. They are located at the lateral sides of root and stems. and the function is to increase the girth, that is the diameter of the root and the stem. So these were the three types of meristematic tissue. Got it, children? The next type is permanent tissue. After their growth is complete, new cells formed by division of meristematic tissues lose their ability to divide and start to perform a specific function at specific place. Thus, they permanently acquire a specific structure, shape, and location and perform a specific function. This is called as differentiation, and the permanent tissues are formed from these differentiated cells. There are two types of permanent tissues: simple permanent and complex permanent tissues. First, let us study simple permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues are made up of only one type of cell. According to the function, they are of the following types. First one is parenchyma. They are the living cells with thin cell wall and intercellular spaces. They are present in the all parts of plants like roots, stem, leaves, flowers and seeds. The function is to support storage of food and filling the vacant spaces. These parenchyma are subdivided into Chloranchyma and Arenchyma. Chloranchyma, these are the leaves. They are present in the leaves and performs photosynthesis. Whereas in Arenchyma, it helps aquatic plants, leaves and stems to float. The next type is Chloranchyma. These cells are elongated living cells with thickened cell wall at the corners due to cellulose and pectin. They are present at the base of leaf petiole, branches and stem, and they support and the flexibility to various parts. The next type is Sclerenchyma. They are dead and fibrous cells with tapering ends. Cell wall contains lignin. They are present in the stem, veins of leaves, hard coats of seeds, outer covering of coconut, etc. They give strength and rigidity to the parts of the plant. So these are the types of simple permanent tissues. Now let's see the different types of complex permanent tissue. There are two types, xylem and phloem. To begin with xylem, it consists of thick-walled dead cells. The type of cells present in xylem are tracheids, vessels and xylem fibers. They are the dead cells. Xylem parenchyma, these are the living cells. Function is structure like interconnected tubes conduct water and mineral only in upward direction. Phloem. It consists of cytoplasm containing living cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma. These are the living cells. Phloem fibers are the dead cells. The functions are tubes joined to each other, conduct sugar and amino acids from leaves to various parts in upward and downward direction. So children, this was all about the plant tissues and different types of plant tissues. Understood children? Okay. So student, with this we have finished with our today's topic. Please watch the video attentively because we have learnt many new things in today's video. Isn't it? So please watch the video carefully and attentively and then read the lesson. So we shall see you in our next video with a new topic of this lesson. Till then, thank you students for listening to me.